Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Definitely.
So it's this English learning podcast called Daily Money Briefing.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
It's actually pretty cool. You get the
Yeah.
financial news and kind of a language lesson all in one.
Oh, I like that. Sort of killing two birds with one stone.
Exactly.
Today we're looking at, well, quite a mix of sources, actually. We've got market reactions, tech's energy future, and a pretty key election overseas.
Yeah, quite the range. And our aim, like always, is to just pull out the really important bits for you, the key takeaways,
Hmm.
so you get the picture fast without, you know, drowning in all the detail.
Exactly. So we'll hit the Fed's latest signals, the market stuff, then this surprising energy angle from big tech, and finally check in on early voting in South Korea. Okay, let's get into it.
Right, let's start with the Fed and the markets. So after those May FOMC meeting minutes came out, U.S. stocks did finish a bit lower.
Okay. And the message from the Fed, it wasn't like super dramatic, but definitely cautious, yeah. Sounds like officials agreed that, with risks going up, they mentioned both jobs and inflation sticking around. They need to be more careful about rate changes.
That's the gist of it. And what really stood out was this emphasis on, well, increased economic uncertainty. The Fed seemed to feel it's just smarter to wait, you know,
Yeah.
wait for clearer data, especially on how recent government policies are actually working out.
Sort of a wait and see mode then. They use that phrase, sufficiently restrictive.
Talking about current policy, what does that signal really?
Well, it tells us they think rates are already high enough to be slowing things down, doing the job on inflation for now. So it strongly suggests there's no big rush to cut rates until they feel much more confident about where the economy and inflation are actually heading.
Makes sense.
And you combine that caution with investors also being a bit cautious before earnings season, well, that probably contributed to the market easing back a bit. Uncertainty is kind of the main theme right now.
Okay, let's completely switch gears here. This is interesting. Big tech, companies like Microsoft, Google, OpenAI, investing heavily in nuclear energy. Yeah, it sounds a bit unexpected at first, doesn't it? But the driver's pretty straightforward, actually. Just explosive need for electricity. Think about these huge AI data centers popping up everywhere.
Right.
They consume, truly massive amounts of power, and they need it constantly.
Ah, okay. So solar and wind are great, obviously, but maybe they can't yet provide that totally reliable, massive, always on carbon free power these big AI models demand. Is that the idea?
Precisely. Nuclear offers that incredibly dependable, large-scale baseline power. And, this is happening while the U.S. government itself is sort of warming up to nuclear again. It really shows that for AI, getting enough reliable power, the whole power game is becoming just as vital as the algorithms themselves. It's core infrastructure now for tech in a way it maybe wasn't before.
So it's not just about ticking a green box. It's literally about keeping the AI revolution powered up.
Exactly that. Okay, so let's pivot one more time to global politics.
Yep.
South Korea's presidential election, early voting, just started today, May 28th, runs through tomorrow.
And it sounds like they're making it pretty easy for people to vote early. Over 3,500 polling stations
Oh.
open 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yep, 3,568 stations nationwide. And crucially, voters can go to any of them. Doesn't matter where they live. Just need a valid photo ID, resident card, passport, driver's license. And the main parties, Democratic Party, People Power Party, the Reform Party, they're all really pushing for people to turn out during this early period. It often gives a hint of momentum.
And apparently the race got a bit more intense recently. Something about a unification deal between two candidates, Kim Moon-soo and Lee Jun-suk, falling through.
Right, that failed deal seems to have shaken things up a bit. It's intensified the fight for support, especially maybe among those voters who aren't firmly decided yet, adds another layer of complexity right at the end.
So summing up then, we've gone from, the Fed's careful language and market ripples to big tech's huge energy needs for AI, and now a major democratic exercise kicking off in South Korea.
It makes you think how things like, say, cautious central bank moves, the race for tech infrastructure power, and national elections, how they all seem separate, but are actually tangled together in this big global picture.
Yeah, how does understanding one piece maybe help you see the rest a bit more clearly? Definitely something to consider.
Indeed.
Okay.
Thanks for diving deep with us today.